Today's video covers the AMC share count, offshore swaps, shorts bad news, and more. We're starting with this. The exposure over the last 2 years has gone from 10x to 45x retail shares. We've observed higher share sales. Due to distortion, floats have increased. Retailers always bought, stuck shorts. Numerous examples have shown this. First, separate people polled AMC shareholders. Everyone is saying I haven't sold. I've increased my shares. The 41% of these votes going from 1,000 to 9,999 shares shows some goes over. Since we only have 313 votes, this is a very small sample. Over here, 426, 9,400, 8,600, which is a larger sample than some others. But when we talk about AMC's total shareholders, it's obviously a small sample, but it still shows how many shares AMC investors have bought and held. Not only are the shares this enormous, but they're also rising. Every time this vault is started. If the last vote was half a year ago, more people choose the bigger choice since they bought more AMC shares. This is crucial because it discusses synthetic chemical content. It discusses how much they've manufactured and how many times retail has bought the float, which determines the squeezing price. A less conservative estimate, a more realistic midpoint value of AMC shares held by retails from the recent poll, shows that retails hold 97 times more shares than public flow. Again, this is done with a small sample of data, but I think it's still relevant to understand what's going on for AMC, because we know this has been happening for a long time. We know there are AMC share rehypothecations. We can't acquire an exact count, but we can utilize data to estimate. This poll has 168 votes with 32.1% picking 1 to 5,000. Some have 5,000, 10,000, or 20,000 shares. On Twitter, part of this data may be manufactured because individuals are clicking on random spots, yet some persons own over hundreds of thousands of AMC shares. Over 100,000 AMC shares have been bought in a week. This is why I find these numbers believable. As shown below, retail holds 31.25 billion shares, 96.9x the public float. This is hard to understand since when you compare how many AMC shares there should be to how much synthetic float there is, it's 97 times, which is insane. Seems unlikely, but it's happening. Again, we don't have specific data. We don't know the exact number of shares, but it's why I think it's absurd in such a big amount. But if we look at other data, we see that AMC's total return swaps are offshore, so we know many don't need to be reported. Additionally, we've seen reported swaps increase in the past. That's why I claim there are so many data points pointing to synthetic AMC shares that the float has been manufactured numerous times. When I see a data point that shows 30 billion synthetic shares, it may seem ridiculous or shocking, but I believe it's possible, and we know that with so many synthetics and how big this has become, they will have to pay a very severe price for this, which is why they're trying to attack AMC right now. Through all their accomplishments, including breaking records, AMC wants to run with this news. This piece benefits from AMC stock being under $2, or they flee with his ridiculous compensation deal. The base wage he received was $1.56 million. Stock fluctuates, thus everything else depends on it. This news concerning what? They mention Adamar's executive pay package's 31.9% increase from $11.4 million in 2024. Recently, many news articles have tried to characterize Adamar as a horrible guy and a bad executive, but we know that's not true. This article is used to paint that image again because they didn't say the base salary. They omitted to disclose that the number they're using is from his shares. The post frames remuneration using accounting optics, not economic reality. When the stock is down 90% and equity-heavy pay packages aren't wealth, they mostly represent drained paper worth. News articles again fail to explain. They ignore this and try to make Adam Aaron look terrible to force him out. It seems like Adam Aaron has something that might easily take these shorts down or at least have a major blow, which is why they've been trying so hard to remove him as CEO. See another example of terrible news articles. If you go to Yahoo News and go to AMC, you'll see an article linked to AMC regarding AMC Global Media, AMCX, and AMC. They link negative news from an unrelated company before Q1 earnings. It may be algorithmic incompetence, but confuses and misrepresents AMC. We discuss why they do this several times. First, it targets retail firms interested in investing in AMC, but unaware of its operations. This industry is booming, thus someone seeing can grasp this. We consider AMC as the top corporation. Your desire to own AMC is evident. If you notice bad articles, you may reconsider. You may then reconsider and research alternative companies. That's their goal. First, to reach AMC uninformed folks. This was discussed second. Institutional algorithms target your news and decide how long to make it. That depends on the ticker, the news pieces, and the sentiment. If we see an AMC-related article about a downturn, you can see how that could drive algorithms to short AMC. We mentioned how they're targeting AMC with terrible news. Another thing they're not highlighting. First, Netflix's cooperation allowed the global release of February 12, 2027 in theaters. Importantly, the new picture Narnia has a 49-day exclusive theatrical window. This is crucial because the firm that was intended to abolish theaters now needs them, giving us several messages. We saw folks claim Netflix would overtake AMC and the business. We're presently receiving them. Additionally, they are ditching streaming first and going to theater first for the first time. This only illustrates its size. Who will benefit most? Who has the most market screens? Who has the biggest AMC market share? If this happens and the cinema sector and those with the most screens benefit, you can see how AMC is again at the forefront. Adam Aron previously made this decision. Thus, we discuss how they want to target negative articles and represent Adam Aron as a nasty guy to force him out of the organization. We've always discussed this. Adam Aron isn't the best CEO or that every decision he's taken has been ideal, but he's never hurt AMC. Every decision at AMC has been made with good intentions. I don't think anyone else has put AMC on the map like Adam Aron. Adam is clearly excited about everything going on. We have good news first. Devil's Product is a hit. The Actors Union signed a multi-year pact with film producers. This is what we're seeing. First, more than 4.4 million AMC and Odeon moviegoers confirmed that huge opening weekends are still popular in 2026. Again, AMC profits. This is why this is significant and why they still want to focus on premium screens. They see how well the industry is moving and want to take as much market share as possible, which is what we want. That increases revenue, profit, debt repayment, and dividends. You see why this is good. That's why this is bad news for the shorts. Everything we discussed till this video. As expected, another strike is off the agenda. So a strike won't harm the box office like it did in the past. Exactly what we desire. Q2 2026 is crushing it. We're just into May, but we're already seeing how the new titles have done well at the box office and how AMC will profit. We discuss how our prior actions are creating a snowball effect that will only grow. Your worst mistake is comparing AMC to the old AMC without comprehending that it's a different corporation. First, we shuttered over 200 underperforming theaters in recent years and upgraded stronger ones. We're getting a higher market share and seeing the Netflix relationships as a great thing because we'll profit from them. Reduce debt, trim flat curve areas, and generate new revenue. Thus, comparing AMC to the old AMC without taking into consideration their past achievements is a grave mistake. If we look at where we are, I think we're at the start of a run, especially with the fundamentals and technicals, which are preparing us for a bright future. I think it's important to confirm whether GME and AMC are swap derivatives, especially now. This is because so much has happened, and we're already feeling the pressure. GME has said some wonderful things regarding its eBay acquisition offer. This is good for GME because eBay previously, and this is only a part of it, needed a company called the King of Collectibles to provide global card grading services. This will add to GME's operational structure, which we discuss how they need to improve. We'll see that GME had a solid cash pile, but a poor operating structure. They'll have that, which we want, but we can see its importance. As we see how short this is, and media publications still call GME a meme subcompany. This will be destroyed. A business that'll buy eBay for $56 billion, but calls a meme stock. It goes on to explain how they're always trying to paint a bad picture for AMC and GME because they're afraid of what will happen if no one in the retail space can fault them anymore. and we saw GME rise over 9% when the news broke. Today we observed the fall, but we understand why, and the AMC also fell. The price action shows why I believe the basket GME pre-market was great. AMC was green today, but both stocks are under pressure. For what reason? Two unconnected stocks have similar prices. It discusses what's happening and how the judge ordered MMTP materials to be released, which we still need to focus on. Some companies are opposing it and not providing information. Why do that if you're not bothered about what happened? If you're not anxious about your actions, this is why. Market activity is also important today. Turbulence persists. There's still ambiguity. U.S. raise came in at $520 billion. It's not like equities are plunging 20% one by one. Still, volatility can strike at any time. So institutions and short sellers can run out of money.